Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad HAIZAL and I will start with the introduction part. Firstly, it's about food pollution. Food is a source for energy and things that keeping survival for human and other living things. Food pollution happens when bacteria or other pathogens enter food that are not supposed to be there. For example, marine life like fish that eat or absorb toxic substance is considered to be contaminated. So every substance found inside the food along the production process, farming, fishing and others can be considered as polluted food. Next, moving on to the main issue in what is rotavirus. So the virus was first discovered as cause of diarrhea in 1973 by Ruth Bishop, an Australian virologist with her colleague. It is a Reoviridae family stranded, double-stranded RNA virus, which is globally known as a common causes for stomachache disease in young children. Furthermore, the virus, which resembles a wheel, where rota means wheel in Latin, and so it was dubbed as a rotavirus. Next, who are the rotavirus victims? In general, it has been reported affecting mostly in developing countries, and in 2013, India, Nigeria, Pakistan and Congo accounted for half of rotavirus deaths. The number is more bigger compared in 1980s, which 500,000 children was dead due to this virus. Okay, then I will pass to Afiqah to proceed with the next presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi to everyone. My name is Afiqah and I will continue this presentation in explain to you guys on regards the issues that happen in Japan. So, any biological contaminants which are not naturally present in food or above their natural background level can be foreseen as a polluted food. So, clams that human will generally consume or eat in daily basis in Japan has been polluted by having a wild type of rotavirus. The clams which were collected along Kawasaki City riversides from the July of 2019 to January 2020 has causing a serious food poisoning to the children in Japan. So how the virus will transmit? The virus can be transmitted or spread to anything it touch, including food, toys, and utensils, and the infections also can be occurred if another person touch an infected person unwashed hands or contaminated object, then he touch their mouth. Right, so these infections can be resulting a diarrhea, vomiting, and also fever, and finally will result fluid loss. So it will cause dehydration, which especially very dangerous for babies and young children. So in order to replace this lost fluid, some children were required an IV shots in the hospital. So, the hospitalizations rates occur from 2.8 to 13.7 per 1,000 child in Japan, and among children aged less than 5 years old. So, this problem has imposed a substantial burden to healthcare system in Japan. I think that's it from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Mohamad ZAIRUL SYAZRIN bin HAMIDON. So I will proceed to the upstream interventions. So the first upstream is the National Immunization Program. So in November 2011 and July 2012, Japan has introduced a monovalent rotavirus vaccine and pentavalent rotavirus vaccine respectively as voluntary immunizations. So this is where the current national immunization program in Japan for rotavirus illness was introduced, whereby there are two types of vaccines, which are Rotarix vaccine from November 2011 and Rotatec vaccine from July 2012. So the comparatively expensive total cost of the rotavirus vaccines have been spent by the government was about 25,000 yen. In this regard, these total costs are actually related with the financial support from the local government in order to support the national immunization program in Japan. This is due to cross-reactivity of the rotavirus illness. The rotavirus vaccines had a significant role in lowering the disease severity, symptoms, hospitalizations, and mortality by providing heterotypic immunity. So in this context, people can choose whether to take Rotavirus or Rotatec vaccine. For those who are infected, the Rotarix vaccine will be given in 2 oral doses, while Rotatec vaccine will be given in 3 oral doses. So in addition, the rotavirus vaccination has also become a routine procedure for babies, as it is also being included in the National Immunization Program of Japan. So this is where, in Japan, it is recommended by the government to begin the rotavirus vaccination for babies at the age of 2 months and be finished by the age of 6 months. This is because this illness is very aggressive and deadly, with severe diarrhea and vomiting as the side effects. So that is why it is really necessary to take the early rotavirus vaccination, especially for babies, because babies are susceptible to infection just after birth. For the next upstream is the administration of food safety. So during the widespread of the rotavirus illness infection in 2005, the administration of food safety has been undertaken by the Japan administrations as a temporary addressing measure before the official introduction of vaccine was launched in 2011. So this is where the administration of food safety has begun in 2006, which was prepared by the Department of Food Safety, Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, and so on. The objective of this food safety administration work was actually for the early prevention of rotavirus contained in food by increasing the food safety and assurance systems. The third upstream interventions is food hygiene analysis. So the government has set up a food hygiene analysis team which is registered under the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare of Japan that may contribute to assure the food safety during the rotavirus infection period. So this team will conduct the local foods and import food analysis. The issues like the presence of pesticides, contamination substances, and mixing with foreign substances do occur, and it must be discovered. The last upstream is the food sanitation inspections. So this is the duty of the Metropolitan Government's food sanitation inspectors to conduct the food sanitation inspection as a precautionary measure to prevent the rotavirus infection. So the inspectors will carry out their duties on the line with the food sanitation law and other regulations. Among their duties are such as monitoring and instructing the foods and food facilities. For example, when the inspectors visit facilities, they make observations and instructions in order to ensure that the foods are prepared in accordance with the requirements. The foods are handled properly in hygienic ways in terms of its temperature and control, as well as the equipment and facilities are also in hygienic.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is INTAN MAYSHURA binti IBRAHIM. So I will proceed with downstream interventions. So one of the downstream intervention to deal with this problem is the public hygiene practice. This is because there are not any medications or any treatments that will make the rotavirus go away. The fact that Japan is known to be a country with a strong awareness of hygiene. The tradition to wash hands and gargle on a daily basis are particularly widespread and are carried out actively by a wide range of people in the country, which are from children to grown-up. So the effectiveness of the hand washing with soap as a countermeasure for infectious disease like rotavirus, especially diarrheal disease and pneumonia, has been demonstrated by a public health specialist for many years. So it is one of the simplest and most cost-effective measures for preventing rotavirus. So next is a personal hygiene for food handler. So when handling with food, personal hygiene is very important to prevent food poisoning. Especially the food handler should be properly trained. This is because food handlers may contaminate food, so employers and employees must be careful to ensure that no illness is passed on by those working in the industry, so that the food business operator must recognize that they are primarily responsible for ensuring food safety and take necessary measures on a timely basis. The fact that most people carry harmful bacteria on their bodies and can unwittingly transfer them to food. Touching the mouth, nose, hair, or even the clothing can spread bacteria and cause contamination. So to summarize, a good personal hygiene is essential for any food handler, and it can be minimize the risk of the food contaminations. So that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Shafi bin Manasir, and I'll be the next presenter. So I will present the summary of environmental health analysis about rotavirus that occurred in Japan. So, rotavirus has caused severe acute gastroenteritis in babies and young children around the world. So, in 2004, before the vaccine for rotavirus were exist, approximately 111 million people that requiring only home care and 25 million clinic visits, 2 million hospitalization, and 352,000 of deaths, and the million of deaths is 440,000, which occurred to children below 5 years of age. These data are referring on the NIH website, which is National Library of Medicine. So some studies in Japan were getting the survey from 1,365 hospitals that are available during the outbreaks, and many cases were reported. So this outbreak does happen in Japan, which we believe the cleanest country in the world. So between September 2004 and August 2019, 10,770 Group A rotavirus cases were reported. Some cases were regarding the freshwater clams. It was collected along Kawasaki City riverside from July 2019 to January 2020 were identified as having rotavirus. Just like we were experienced by the COVID pandemic, it will be some symptoms such as fever, cough, tiredness, and loss of taste or smell. So what was symptom if a person had a rotavirus or had been infected by it? So the person will get diarrhea, vomiting and fever can all contribute to fluid loss and dehydration. So what are steps for prevention this rotavirus? So do not fear this virus, since various hadith assert that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala offers a remedy for every disease. There is no ailment that Allah has created which He has not also created a cure, by Hadith Sahih al-Bukhari. So simple practicing hygiene, such as wash hand regularly, especially after using the toilet, changing a diaper, or helping a kid use the toilet. Even though hand washing isn't enough, an alcohol-based hand sanitizer will not kill rotavirus. So WHO advised vaccinating newborns against rotavirus. So the vaccines such as Rotatec and Rotarix are two vaccines that help inhibit the spread of this virus. Such are the vaccines provided to prevent COVID-19, which are often Pfizer, AstraZeneca and Sinovac. So the Rotatec vaccine is provided orally in 3 doses, typically at 2, 4 and 6 months of age. At this time, the immunization cannot be provided to older children or adults. Meanwhile, the Rotarix vaccination is a liquid type that is injected to the neonates twice, the first time at 2 months and the second time at 4 months. As a direct consequence of this, the percentage of Japanese children who have received the rotavirus vaccination increased from 30% in 2012 to 78% in 2019. So I think that's all for the summarization of environmental health analysis. Thank you.
As for the conclusion, mission on controlling the rotavirus has been growing since its appearance on 1973. Lots of initiatives have been taken to counter the rotavirus issue. And then a lot of countries have been accepting the vaccine to fight the rotavirus, since WHO has been suggest them to take the vaccine. And last but not least, Japan has showing great proactive action in dealing with the virus by taking hygienic preventive action until they include the vaccine in national immunization program. And then responsible parties such as government should address such issue immediately to prevent any unwanted issue in the future. That's all from us. Thank you very much.